Greetings, loyal listeners from across the galaxy. You may recall from our last mission log that our crew arrived at the conglomerate-controlled planet Tissia and participated in the local commerce long enough to acquire a warp drive and Kesho crystal converter, and used their upgrades to return to the place where they all first met, the desert planet of Addis. And now, Dungeon to the Stars continues.
So you guys park your ship and your trash in the area where other trade ships sort of land, especially the ones trying to skirt conglomerate taxes or avoid landing in conglomerate territory and paying their tariffs, but they still want to sell stuff in their malls. Sort of that gray area where the law only sort of exists. The sand here is sort of a reddish-orange and blows around a lot. There are storms in the distance. On the other side of the planet is the factory where you guys sort of originated your adventure, where the ship comes from and where Argyle comes from. That's the other side of the planet. You guys are now close to where more of the cities are. The cities are on wheels, but they don't move very much, but you're in the area where more of them are situated, for sure.
Go find ourselves a scrapyard.
You want to just park the ship here, leave your scrap here, and just go into the mall and try to find someone?
Well, I assume at least someone should stay with the scrap. I guess that would be...
Yeah.
Because I can literally rip people apart.
Roll me an Intimidate, Nicole, to protect the trash when everyone leaves.
Alright, I'm gonna use my partial flexibility again.
I'm gonna deploy Yoshi at your
22.
I think that with Yoshi is going to be fine. You like I said, you guys are just far enough away from the ruins that the people that live in the ruins don't want to come all the way here to try and steal shit. You're just far enough away from the mall. The people that live in the mall don't want the safety of the mall to come here. You're probably in that sweet spot that prevents theft, and you have a good security system. As Dr. P, Argyle, and Tomoko, I assume, try to head into the city.
Sure.
It's a couple miles, but you guys have time.
We get like an exocraft that we just like deploy.
You guys are just walking to the city. I'm gonna get a beer, so you guys talk amongst yourselves as you walk through the desert.
Alright, so what are we gonna try to do? We're gonna try to sell the half of the ship, but we're gonna have to explain how we got it. I vote that we just say that honesty. We happened across it, saw it coming partially out of a warp hole, or I don't know, whatever you call it. Be honest without saying that we're the reason that it was destroyed.
Be like, yo, we saw this thing get cut in half by a warp, so we just took it. That's true.
Can we,
Yeah,
just be really short? Say,
throw like a stick for Yoshi to chase?
Oh yeah, if you get bored, you'd probably throw like a rock or something.
say, I found this.
Your away team goes into the Mall of Addis. The mall here is bigger than the one on that planet you just left in the faraway. Well, you've been here before. You've seen the malls. The ones here are several stories. There's much more shopping to do here than there was there. There's many more shops. They're much more fully equipped. Prices are a little better because things are more available because you're closer to civilization. And also, in these Etesian structures, they're built more like trapezoids. And on top of the mall is like parking decks and living quarters and like domes with controlled environments that have like fake nature and stuff. So they're much more opulent than the planet you just left light years away. And now you're at an actually busy mall. You're at a mall, there's lots of people. People actually live here. You see real Etesians like the bug people and stuff here. It's a much more crowded place than where you just left. You guys are able to enter here, no charge to enter the mall, of course, and it's full of shops and opportunities, etc.
Okay. Yeah, are we there like a sign that says, we buy metal, or we buy ugly houses?
I mean, knowledge local, you guys can find someone to buy scrap metal if that's what you're looking for. It's that kind of commerce here in the conglomerate. You guys can roll it, you can find it.
Is there a directory since this is such like a nice ass
Of course there
place?
is, but
Since this is more of a plaza.
you can roll with a +2 if you find the directory. But you have to roll something to find the directory.
Yeah, let's
Perception
see
or
what
knowledge
our
local.
available shop options are. A 16 without adding anything to it, so what's that say?
We're rolling knowledge local.
Yeah, unless you're just looking with a perception just to see with your own eyes. I mean, however you want to find things. It's your call.
I'll do a perception
sign.
to find a kiosk that'll 23.
So Argyle helps you, point you in the right direction, but the Dr. P finds the spot where there's a guy that's buying scrap metal, for sure. There's a scrap metal dealer. Now, Dr. P, your license might be kind of suspect, even though you're not selling moon kelp, so maybe you won't get any trouble. It might be better to use somebody else's ID if you're trying to sell stuff, just to keep out of trouble, you know that. But otherwise, you could sell metal to this guy. It seems like he might buy metal if you got metal to sell. Do you want to deliver it to them, have them pick it up? I mean, you probably need to cover all the details of this sale if you can.
I think we would just give them the coordinates.
Diplomacy to try to get some money for it, then.
I rolled a natural 20.
And just give you whatever I roll. They're gonna give you 1,000 gloms for your scrap metal, if you're comfortable with that, Argyle. Unless you want to roll again and argue with it. They've got to come pick it up. They got to do all the work. They got to move it. But they'll take 1,000 for this scrap metal from this
For
half a ship.
Porch pickup of the.
Yeah, they just pick up this metal you got in the desert.
That's a sweet fucking deal. Take it.
Yay! We'll take it.
Sure, I take it.
Argyle takes it. Of course, Argyle, you have a chip embedded in you with a conglomerate account tied to your Argyle Gargyle Gargolian number. So that's stored onto yourself now. You have those gloms, 1,000.
Congratulations on your glom.
They will come pick up the metal at that location. Over the next couple of days, that metal will be dismantled and taken away from your ship. Argyle got paid, and you guys have money to blow. You're at another fucking mall planet now that's just a desert mall planet instead.
Can I use my communicator to tell
Yeah.
that it's sold?
Use your communicator.
Yeah,
You
I'm
have a
gonna
rock.
tell Zalshan what happened, so just so you know he doesn't freak out if somebody shows up to try and take all the metal. Then we can keep hanging out.
I'm sure it'll be a slow process over the next couple of days where that gets dismantled. But as long as Zalshan releases it from the vines, it's this laying there.
Well,
So.
I still just want to keep.
Yep, you're in the loop, Zalshan.
Zalshan praises Argyle for his expert dealsmanship, finds Argyle about all the service that Dr. V has rendered to our crew in recent days. Not to forget him on any potential job. Have a good day. Bye.
Dr. P would like to see if maybe we could find more drugs that we could grow besides this moon kelp. Maybe we can get some, I don't know, some stardust or some
Demoko
crackers.
is completely intrigued about the fact that there's more than just
We're
the
looking
one
for
kind
like
of drugs.
seeds and like samples of
Yeah, well,
organic things we can grow.
yeah, and Tomoko is going to be all about growing stuff, even if it is drugs that I'm going to refine.
Well, it
into
could probably be
better-
helpful in identifying plants that can be processed into drugs. So, like in their state now, they're not illegal or dangerous, but you could do something to them to like
Sweet.
concentrate
So-
it.
Unlike the last mall you were in, where the only gardening section was like sort of in a larger store, here there are specialty gardening stores, and there are ones that specialize in drugs. So it definitely does exist here. Although because of Dr. P's license certification in the past, he might not be allowed in some of those areas. The rest of you could easily go into these places and buy samples of other space drugs.
Okay, well, in that case, since I might not be allowed in there, I'll go to the food court and try to find something while you guys go in there and try to find, I'm going to say, healing herbs, anything that can cause hallucinations and fun good times and euphoria.
Addis is home to many drug varieties. You guys sold moon kelp before and you got a good price for it. You'll find that that kind of drug is more rare here, and the drugs here that are more common are harder drugs that require more refinement and require more alchemist expertise.
I'm an alchemist. I
You
go
can-
back
you
to
can cook
Zalshan
if you wanna
and start
cook.
Making more moon kelp extract to trade for some more of this other stuff.
As long as you're willing to buy the ingredients, you can cook other things too and make money on that. It's just buying the supplies to make it and then selling it after you make it. And especially with your smugglers' problems with the conglomerate, it might be difficult. But good
I
money.
mean, chicken. They can buy whatever they want.
You could easily sell whatever drugs you make in the ruins and not get busted. As long as you don't try to sell it on conglomerate property, you're probably fine.
I'm a very intimidating dealer.
Yeah. So you have ideas. So if anybody wants to get supplies for anything, you guys can.
Yeah.
Although
I'm
Dr.
the
P
Heisenberg.
can't be there to check it out, you guys can obtain supplies for other drugs if you want. Or other drugs if you just want more drugs. So do you guys procure any weird drugs while you're out here apart from Dr. P? Because that just takes money and stuff.
Well, honestly, I'm actually trying to work on creating my tattoo kit that my tribe does, where the tattoos show up on the fur. So, too.
You can buy tattoo supplies if you want. That's definitely possible here. They have places you can get tattoos done or places you can buy tattoo supplies.
Mine
So
are
kinda
actually,
cool.
I would assume, mine is very traditional in that they make their own tattoo kits.
You might want to go back to Omiyakon for that then. That seems more like a ritualistic thing. If you want the real Omiyakon deal, you need to go back to your own planet. But it's not very far from here, so it could be done.
Omnicon Emporium at this wonderful mall.
They do import Omiyakon stuff, but a lot of it seems to be agricultural products. Very large vegetables, very large animal meat. So a lot of the food here is made from Omiyakon products, so it's like big produce and big animals.
Well, let's grow some giant vegetables, and that way we don't have to use up all of our green points.
Can you get giant potato seeds?
Green points work the same way no matter what size the vegetable is. It's just the difference between one giant potato and several small potatoes.
It'd be
I
nostalgic.
look up seeds, the plant that makes their dies.
You can grow things that could be dyed, and you can easily get seeds for that and put them on the Zaoshan. But it'd be the same kind of thing. Whenever you do that, you'd be taking green points from Zaoshan to make dye.
And I can help you refine them.
Yeah, you can buy seeds and then plant them. That will now exist in your arboretum. But some might already exist there, too, because
You
of this,
also
the
get
nature of Zaoshan.
You get the 90 feet of linen as well. I don't want that.
I also want to pick up some seeds for drugs and also some raw chemicals.
If you're willing to spend 800 glums, you can get everything you want. No questions asked, drugs, dyes, etc. You'll have the plant material to do what you want in your arboretum.
I am absolutely willing to spend 800 glom in order to have all the dyes, various chemicals that Dr. P can use to make whatever.
You now have the seed for it. They will exist on the Zaoshan. Like I said, you still have to subtract green points from the Zaoshan to get them, but they now exist for the future. If you want them, they are now there. If you spend that money.
You guys want to say we're going to start growing spice?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baby.
This might extend the life.
All right, well, I'll meet up with you guys after you're done with the herb store, unless anybody else needs anything from there.
You guys have spotted planetary patrol out. Now you know if Zaoshan gets spotted, it might get identified as a ship still off this planet. Luckily, it's very dusty and windy here, and you guys have been able to lay low to the ground and avoid drawing any attention. For the time being, you guys can walk back and forth to the mall and shop all you want and hang out here all you want. But you know that there's a presence of conglomerate here that could shut you down any moment.
I would suggest to our friend, that to the rest of the crew, that perhaps we could seek out a job of some variety. I mean, places like this always need something done.
If you have professions, you can always do jobs.
Well, I mean that, but I mean like actual, like, you know, like a job, like a freelance gig.
As a group.
Kill people, you know, the works.
Let's go to the Space Tavern.
Yeah, look for some bounties, look for the help.
There are bars in the mall if you want to go hang out at the bar and try to look for jobs at the bar. There are they're the Applebee's versions of space bars, so it's not like, you know, you're at the mall bar. It's not a...
But there's only one kind
You're
of
the
bar.
Applebee's.
Applebee's.
Yeah, here if you're as long as you're on Addis, there's no like rogue faction here. It's all conglomerates. If you go to a bar, it's definitely an Applebee's. It's definitely a corporate bar, but you still might come across some rogues there.
But they've got bright blue margaritas. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I want to roll to figure out which Applebee's space crew drinks that.
You want to look for the shadiest Applebee's.
Exactly.
You guys can find the seedy part of the mall. I mean, the malls that are conglomerate, like I said, there's a lot of security. They're pretty well regulated. There's cameras everywhere. There's weapons everywhere. There's gargoyles everywhere. And not nice, friendly gargoyles like your friend Argyle Gargyle. Like shitty, asshole security guard gargoyles. So, I mean, there's a lot of presence of conglomerate here. And there's no way to get away from it fully. But you guys can find the shittiest restaurant if you want. No,
The Dark Applebee's.
yeah. You guys find the darkest Applebee's. Kitschy bullshit on the walls, but you guys find the chain restaurant with the seediest people. A lot of these buildings, like I said, they're built like trapezoidal, so the things towards the outskirts. Like if you go to like the restaurant that's like right at the entrance, that's like the shittiest one. You know, like anybody can get in there. Like there's a whole, not a whole lot of wait. So you guys will do that. You guys will find like a shitty city. So at this point, maybe you guys have traveled out farther. You guys have gone to a different Artesian city. Maybe not the one you guys landed at to sell your scrap. You got your money for the scrap already. So maybe you went somewhere else. You went to a farther away city. You found one with a shittier Applebee's. So you guys are in the outskirts now. We'll say you're back towards like the rim of these cities.
Can we try to find one that maybe has, like some kind of sporting event or like a horse track? Like we want some gambling. We want some underbelly, like...
Many of them have televised sporting events, and if you find the right crowd, you can gamble. And there are plenty of derby-type events in the desert if you're willing to find the right crowd to get involved with that. But that would take a knowledge local or diplomacy to find the people doing that. But at the bar, you can bet on all types of sporting events that are shown on the flat screens, the view screens, and stuff like that. If you find gamblers, you can find people to gamble with. It's not necessarily legal within the conglomerate, so if you get caught, you can get in trouble. They're not going to fuck with you if you don't have to. If you guys go to the Dark Applebee's, though, you guys will observe that a lot of the derby events are using mechanical racing machines, not live animals.
I think when I wheel around, because the Applebee's shady things are going on, I saw what you did to that drink bartender. Anyway, I guess what I would inquire is there anybody around who's looking for a group of freelancers, or like around, and put my toe in the water. Got me
Anybody-
for...
Roll me diplomacy when you look around to see if anyone needs freelance help. You can use any roll you want to tell what you're rolling, so I know what you're rolling, because that's how I'll
martial
respond to it.
flexibility, and I'll be like, because look how tough I am, motherfucker.
Alright, so it's intimidation with martial flexibility. What's your roll?
28.
Oh, very good roll. You seem very tough and very available, and if someone had the money to hire you, you probably could assume they would want to. And there probably is a need for people like you in your group here, your A-team, for sure. If you're selling yourself as like an A-team
We're
of
Shadowrun.
protectors, definitely bad stuff happens here in the nearby vicinity. People need muscle. You get the feel that there is a market for it, but the person you're talking to isn't that person.
And that's what I was hoping for him to do, was to point me in that direction. So.
You can be pointed in that direction. You're going to be pointed back to the ruins. If you go into the ruins and you find someone that's living there not out of necessity, but out, at least not monetarily wise, but out of necessity for their
Law
criminal...
enforcement.
Yeah, because they have to. If you find some criminals out in that area, they could definitely use your muscle, for sure.
Ruin.
To the ruins.
You guys head to the ruins, look for some shady folks. Ruins always seem pretty empty, although you know there's people there hiding. But you guys get into the ruins, and you guys are a pretty tough-looking group. Even if only a couple of you come, you have an Akali who's pretty large. You have Argyle, who looks like a conglomerate enforcer. You have Dr. P, who's in a suit. If you send Yoshi, he's a big dinosaur-looking thing. Although Tomoko's not very
Can he
big.
fit?
You guys are just walking around the desert. So if you guys all go around together, especially including Yoshi, you guys are a pretty intimidating crew. So you don't see a whole lot of people in the ruins. There are people there, but they seem to hide when you come around.
We want to find the people that are hiding. We want to find the people that are loud and proud about their presence.
Yeah, who are like brazenly like, what's up? This is my turf. What's up?
You can only find one person of that variety. A very obnoxious person who is not afraid to confront you almost immediately when you enter the ruins. A child.
Awesome.
Very belligerent. He's angry about you guys being here. He wants to pet your dinosaur and doesn't understand why you won't let it.
Ugh, worst.
Argyle
Hampshire.
Argyle is terrified. Child.
Of children, of course. He's wearing like a little sailor's outfit, so he looks awful. Not fashionable at all.
What is up with
the
this?
last time I encountered a child, he turned out to be some kind of horrible eldritch thing.
So immediately,
no,
children are scary. Here's a child in the desert with the winds blowing around red sand, out here all alone. Well, no one else will approach you, but seems belligerent towards you. You have trouble understanding him. He's speaking a language you don't understand, but it seems belligerent, for sure.
I guess I'll try to intimidate the kid and say, take us to your guardian. I don't want to say leader or parent. I want to say whoever is in charge of him, that's where I want him to take us. No, I'm not going to point a weapon at him. I'm just going to say, take us to your guardian.
Either linguistics if you want to translate, or diplomacy to just be kind.
No, I want to intimidate.
Intimidate if you just want to intimidate.
Oh, no, I don't want to intimidate. Alright,
I mean, I'll try.
Natural 1.
Oof.
16.
Yeah, Dr. Pletus pisses off this child, so...
Dr. P is such a prick, I love it.
This child does not like you, Dr. P.
Not
You've angered a small child who is now throwing dirt at you in the wind and runs away. Disappears.
We can follow him in the sand. Survival.
Survival, you can track it.
Argyle objects to this. It says, this is a terrible idea.
Well,
You should run away.
too bad.
You should run away
I'm
while
chasing
we still
that
have
kid. He
chance.
threw dirt at me.
Have a great time.
Got a 19 on survival.
You can follow the dirt kid.
Alright, I'm following the dirt kid. If no one else is going
Well, I mean, imagine it's gonna go back somewhere, and at least we can talk to a fucking parent or something.
I'm gonna follow, but only because I feel like if I don't, then everyone else is gonna die.
You guys enter a building.
I'm
A dilapidated old building made of old, like, sandy mud. So, like, a coarse, rough surface building.
Like you said, it's multiple stories. Is there any more exits, that kind of stuff?
Besides the windows, no. It appears to be stairs going up and windows.
I did a 22 on perception check if we're about to get ambushed.
There appears to be no one here to ambush you. Just a kid running upstairs. At least so far.
So we're gonna follow him inside, I assume. Someone want to stay downstairs and cover our exit while the rest of us go upstairs?
I'll stay downstairs.
I pretty much have to go upstairs. I have to follow this kid. I'm going to the end.
Alright, you guys chase up after this child.
Wait, why are we chasing
And I
this
direct
kid?
you.
You can direct Yoshi, yeah?
Yeah, he's gonna stay with Nikali.
Alright, he stays downstairs. You're within range.
Nikali a lot.
Hey, we like to hang out and throw sticks and drink blood.
To be fair, the less to distract the dinosaur, the better. If you went upstairs and there was a bunch of kids to eat, it might be distracting.
Those look like snacks.
Yeah. So, yeah, three of you run up the stairs towards some children. More than one. Once you guys get upstairs, you realize there's more than one abandoned child up here.
How many?
Damn it.
Is more than one?
About 18.
Holy shit.
This just got scary.
Yeah.
Bye.
They're all about a third or about a half of your height, but there are about 18 of them up here. Once you get up a flight of 2 of stairs.
Gross.
I'll say, where's your guardian?
They just scream out jobs in the conglomerate common, the language you all know. Jobs! 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 They start clinging at you and like grasping at your clothes and your faces and pants. Jobs! Jobs!
I'll
Tomoko's very
say,
scared.
I'll try to do a linguistics, or I'll say jobs, and then do the follow me motion.
Oh no.
You're gonna offer them jobs?
Yeah, as far as they know.
Oh no.
So they'll follow you as long as you start offering pay. Do you have glom chits, little plastic creds to pay them, or some other way to pay them?
I have the 19 that I got for selling swill liquor.
If you toss out your 19 chits now, that might be enough physical gloms to convince them to follow you.
Can I spell abstemiousness? It makes it so that a small amount of food will feed a creature for a day.
And I was gonna drop one of my cans of meat for them as well.
I would usually say this is non-food related, but if he's dropping a can of meat, I'll allow it.
Yes, I'll drop one can of meat, and it's gonna last those kids for one day, and that will give them incentive to follow us.
They'll pick up the gloms you drop and eat your food, and everyone's happy.
All right, so now that we've placated the children, we maybe try to talk to them and say we're looking for a big boss.
You can try linguistics to try to translate a big boss figure.
Nothing else. Set up a sweatshop.
That's kind of where I was going. If we can't figure, because we came here to talk to someone about bounties and stuff like that, and all we found was 18 children. I'm going to put them to work, or we can use them to find the work. Whatever you guys want to do.
You guys can definitely employ slave labor as long as Dalshan's willing to subtract green points to feed them.
Do we need slave labor?
Can you feed your slaves? Then it's fine, they'll keep doing slave work.
But we can also put them in.
You could, and then you don't have to feed them, but then they also can't work. So it depends if you want them to work or sleep.
Then we just have children for a rainy day. That's never a bad thing to have.
They're always there when you need them, I guess. Yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
What?
You have a ship.
I'll roll linguistics to try to say, boss man. I got a 12.
Star Trek do it. They seem to have trouble translating it, and they seem to when you say boss man, they seem to look at you like they think that you're referring to yourself
Yes,
as the
I
boss.
Am. Awesome. I'm not upset about that.
There you go.
I'm the fucking Pied Piper, motherfucker. All right.
Oh, he's right on board. In fact, he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I have one?"
And that's how society works, guys.
What were we talking about? Holly, I need to fuck out of here. Fuck off.
He was gonna murder a child.
He's like a child servant? Sweet.
The only other option, this is going really dark, we could go out there and threaten to kill the children unless someone comes forward, but that's not a really good way to get in good with
No.
I'd much rather employ them in my sweatshop.
Alright, to the sweatshop. I guess we'll take them back to
Child
Dalshan
labor
and
town.
see.
How many children would you guys like to kidnap?
18.
All of them.
Add your charisma to your level. That's how many you can bring back on your own.
So if you have a negative modifier,
Then you can take less people home with you. Because you're scary and no one wants to follow you home, you scary asshole. That's what you get for being a big scary character, you big scary dick.
I have 3 slaves.
I have one slave.
That's only if you want to bring back slaves. That's up to you.
Does the dinosaur get to bring back slaves because they want to pet the dinosaur?
The dinosaur can bring back food. If the dinosaur wants to bring back food, then the dinosaur can do that.
I don't think intelligence to enslave people.
Yeah, then probably not. But the rest of you can bring back slaves equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. If you want slaves.
I bring
Alright,
back one.
Child slaves, to be
I
clear.
got 3 children.
And that can be, because they're on Addis, they can either be humanoid, because it's conglomerate, or they could be an alien race, and that could be any alien race, or they can be a Tesian, which makes them like bug people, beetle people with extra arms, like.
I'll take 3 beetle babies.
I'll take one human.
I want the beetle babies because the extra arms means that they can weave better.
And they have carapace, so they have a little more armor too, probably. Although they're not as good at fighting because their arms are like shitty and weak and like
It's
not,
like I'm playing my.
they're not
turtle
properly
game.
positioned.
I need someone, I
So-
need assistance to help me make potions, and the more arms, the merrier. I'm gonna put 2 into stasis immediately. I'm just gonna keep 1 as like my little butler.
Oh yeah, one's my butler.
Whoever's awake, Zhaoshan's got to feed, just so you know.
Thanks, I hate this.
So you guys come back to the ship with child slaves, except Tomoko.
Dashan creates a hologram. This
second that a child slave stepped up to her and said, "What the actual fuck?"
I'm now the guardian of the small child.
We have new people to help maintain and keep you pristine.
They brought slaves
The
back.
hologram looks. Oh yeah, what are their fucking names then?
This is
What, Nicole?
They have names, but you probably didn't bother to ask. You can rename them if you want because you're their slave drivers and what they're gonna do about it. Or you can take their original names if you're that kind.
No, I'm gonna name.
Sounds just like Polly with like a hand puppet as he babbles.
this is
Yes,
hold on, I have to
that's
look
what
up.
I thought, Nicole. Sit down.
I have to look up the one.
The first one of mine is called Zaphod Beetlebrox. And I point at him and I say, and I tell him to nod, and does he nod?
I'm going to
see why not.
cast a spell that lets me understand all languages.
Yeah, my human's name is now Tanakh.
Zaphod Beetlebrox, Spartacus, and Nancy.
Love it.
I speak the local language.
Yeah,
I
you
remember that
grew
was-
up here.
That was one of the languages I picked.
Yeah,
I
you're
grew
from
up
here. If your slaves are bug people, you have no problem communicating with them.
Yeah, I got bug people. So I'm going to ask them what their names are. One of them is named 4. One of them is named 7. One of them is named 2. One of them is named 10.
Their last names, which you might not have asked, might reference the bug tribe they're born to, but otherwise their first names are those numbers, which reference what number they were born in their family.
Now Sean huffs at all of you and says, "Well, they're going to have to learn. They're going to have to do schooling while they're awake. I know that'll cut into your sweatshop time."
Well, mainly I'm going to raise mine to hate humanity. That's more action
mean-
in the corporation.
You do have a pretty large ship now, so this is actually a more adequate crew to take care of all of your functions.
Because the fuck you are.
I'm gonna teach mine to man the weapons and also to help me make potions. How about
He will
that?
be my apprentice.
If Zaoshan lets them use weapons.
I am going to employ mine for criminally insufficient wages.
I'm just as my parents.
But they're my employees. They're not my slaves. I will pay them.
No matter what you do is an improvement, so like anything you do seems nice.
That's all well and good, whatever you want, but I'm going to steal all of them for 2 hours a day from here on out and give them proper instruction in arithmetic and reading and botany, three most important subjects.
I'm going to. Yeah.
Argyle applauds. He claps. Says, of course.
The hologram taps out Argyle nose and says, "Such a good boy."
Hey, I'm this kid's parent now, so I'm just saying, like guardian.
If nothing else, you guys are filling out your crew, which is probably good. You now have like at least more disposable crew members and people who can help do things.
At least your child slaves are...
Bug people, to be honest, bug people have a reputation to be very good workers.
Yeah, I'm teaching them a craft. All right, they're.
I'm teaching mine to fight. I'm gonna give the brutal sit wall in fighting style.
I'm gonna be training them in alchemy and a little bit of engineering so they can help use Zaoshan. And then, yeah, if you want to give them lessons a couple hours a day on everything else, yeah, let's keep them well-rounded. It's fine by me. They're not slaves, all right? We're doing them a service. They were starving in the middle of the desert. We brought them
And now they have a place to live, they have a wage.
a spaceship oasis. Magic growing all around them. And then I've got all these big screen TVs. They're going to love that.
Sports. You can watch all the sports you want.
Fortnite.
Well, I wanted to do knowledge local there just to look for a criminal element. Like, I'll find local criminal element that way, so we can actually
I
find
could just
what we're
ask
actually looking for.
Argyle can talk to them.
Yeah, and if someone could ask about a more urban planet, I would like to visit one.
Well, I rolled a 21 on my knowledge local, so.
You know there's crime on Addis. There is conglomerate control, and that a lot of the crime happens either in the ruins or like where you guys are parked at, like the area in between the ruins and the conglomerate cities. Once you get into the conglomerate, all the crime is policed pretty well. But out here in the ruins and out here in the desert, there's definitely a lot of like pirates, rogue elements, people selling things illegally. It definitely happens on Addis. This is one of those planets that Conglomerate doesn't have full control over. Conglomerate control is very like centralized just to where their malls and cities are. And anywhere else on the planet, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want and get away with it.
Well, I was going to use the knowledge local to ask around, like, who's the local crime boss? 18?
You have trouble finding a name of a crime boss, especially because it seems like here in the ruins that changes a lot. Here in the ruins, the people that live here seem to be poor and will do anything for a buck. Crime bosses seem to come and go with ships. So, like, out here in the ruins, who's in charge depends on who has money at any given point in time. So sometimes different ships will land here and pay you to do criminal stuff, and then there's good money to be made, and then they leave, and there is... No, so everyone that lives here is sort of just desperate for money. If you live in the ruins, you just need to... you want to survive. So you're relying on outside criminal influence.
I have an idea. So us, basically.
Yeah, you guys could be that for sure.
Let's sell more moon kelp and make the children sell it.
You guys do know that whenever you sold moon kelp in small doses here, you probably made more money than you've ever made anywhere else in the universe.
Yeah, I remember last
When
time
you sell in
we
bulk, you
unloaded
make
a
less
lot.
money. When you sell very small amounts here, you make a lot. It's just a little riskier because you're doing it over a longer period of time. You're selling small amounts every time.
But we can make the children do it and profit, and it's less risk for us.
You've got slaves now. So yeah, if you wanted to sell your bug boys to sell
They're
your
not
drugs for
slaves,
you,
they're wards.
whatever you want to call them, you can send them out to sell your drugs for you and have less effort and make more money per. It's not as easy as selling like all of your oil all at once to one person, but you can make more money for it if you did it for a period of time here. Hanging out here and selling small amounts could make you more money for sure.
If you guys don't have any better to do, we can hang out here for a little bit, or we can just take our kids and run.
Now, Sean, I would like to visit a more urban area, somewhere with more stratified social conditions, to see if there's anyone who is rebelling against the oppressive yoke of the conglomerate.
It's his idea to come here, and we got some, a bunch of money and a bunch of new drug capabilities and some child labor. I'll follow you, Zalshan, wherever you want to go, bud.
Puts up a thumbs up and says, Doctor, you're one of the most valued members of our crew. I treat you every day.
Yeah, feed my kid.
And I will be as a mother to all of them.
There you go.
I treat him like shit because
The Seed God.
to train.
So do you guys want to try to warp closer to Galactic Central Point?
Can I roll a knowledge astrography? Know if there's like a planet that's very urbane, very cultured, very big.
Can I inspect our warp drive to see if I can disable the tracking device?
You guys can do both, yeah?
That'd be great.
Knowledge engineering and knowledge astrography.
That's a 42 on my astrography.
Only a 13. But I'll take a 20 on it if we got time.
You can take time. You know the universe you're in is still pretty far out. This isn't like the far reaches like you were in, but it's still the edge of the universe as far as civilized space is concerned.
Are there any planets that are famous for being cultural or economically powerful? Like, and I mean something truly powerful, not as where economic activity happens. I mean something that is on like the level of
Coruscant.
correct.
Well,
I think you guys would know already, just from your gleaming of knowledge. The closer you get to Galactic Central Point, the more conglomerate presence there is, and therefore the more civilized space will be. Like if you guys want to go to conglomerate space, there's going to be cities on every planet. There's going to be civilization on every planet. I mean, malls. There's going to be this to the nth degree, like better than it is here. Like you guys are already on the outskirts. It's going to be this, but people are actually going to live on every fucking planet. It's going to be every planet has a civilization, but every planet is controlled by conglomerate. If you want to go that direction, you
Before
can.
we go to these civilized places, go in there rolling like some bosses, let's sell some drugs, and then head out there.
I am willing to spend time here on the fringes refining your new drug meeting.
Especially with the extra hands that I have as well.
You'll also notice that in the like been on Addis, that Zasha's been calling Dr. P. Philippus a lot.
Yes.
Respect.
It's risky if we stay here, because we're also going to be doing illegal things. So if you guys would rather just go ahead and move towards Galactic Central Point, that's fine. But I'd like for us to be able to roll in there like some bosses, drop some dough when we need to.
Let us spend a month stockpiling resource drugs so that we can morph into Galactic Central, rolling in like bosses.
I like the sound of that, and that maybe will give me time to make a lot of moon kelp oil, spice, and to try to take care of our warp drive and remove the tracking device.
Disable device, literally.
Oh yeah, that's even better. Thank you. 18 on disabled device.
You can't fully disable the tracking, but you're definitely able to locate the fact that the warp drive you guys are using has a tracking device. You're able to know that it only works in the warp. So when you guys are in regular space, the Dulon can't trace you. In the warp, they can, so it's only a risk whenever you use your warp drive.
Spend a hero point and Dr. Paracelsus' efforts distracted by crunching some of the numbers on the ways that the tracking device is connected to your warp drive.
I'd like to spend an anti-hero point to enhance because the idea of being ordered to stop me from wreaking my craziness on the universe and makes me upset.
Alright, so do you want to work against Dr. P or for Dr. P, I guess is the
For
question. A -8 against the ship. Maybe the device, because of your weird magic, is corrupted somehow. So it'll be easier for Dr. P to disable. So roll your disable device, Dr. P.
I got a 24.
Well, you disable the tracking device, no problem.
What's up?
That's done.
Good work, guys. Thank you for your backup on that.
Yeah.
Now Sean plays is probably very familiar to anybody who's played JRPG in the last 20 years. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba.
Patrol ships are definitely in the area. If you are identified, you're in trouble. But so far, you guys have been able to fly under the radar on Addis. No trubs, no dubs.
No, I want to warp somewhere.
Where you want to warp to? Closer to Galactic Central Point?
Yes.
How much closer?
Half.
40 rounds that you want to spend in the warp?
Holy fuck.
Yeah, 4 minutes.
If you want to spend about a half an hour in the warp, you can get about halfway to closer to Central Point.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds great.
Alright, you guys hop into the warp for half an hour. Even the edges of your ship feel like they're folding. Zhaoshan, you're probably the one that can feel it. Luckily, the ship itself is sort of protecting everyone inside, but everyone inside still feels weird. I have to roll a percentage die, actually. I need everyone to roll a will save to beat insanity.
Oh no.
Ooh, nice.
Got a 14. I rolled a natural 1.
Alright, so only Tomoko, sounds like, made it.
I'm going to go ahead and my one remaining hero point to reroll that.
Alright, you can reroll +8.
Alright, roll a 23.
You and Tomoko are safe and sane. Everyone else needs to roll percentage die to see what kind of madness you got. 44. That's mania or phobia for a day.
Oh, mania. Totally mania.
Alright, you'll be obsessed with blood
I
immediately
have
by
a
it.
corpse in my room.
It's more than his normal obsession. Like, he's normally obsessed with blood for religious reasons, for cultural reasons. Now it's beyond that. Now it's to the point where he has to roll a will save. If he sees blood, he has to roll a will save, or else he's going to be affected by it for a number of rounds. In a manic way, in this particular fashion. So that means you will act unreasonable if you see blood now. So for next 24 hours, that's all that happens for you. That's only 1 day long for you there, Nikali. Who else needs to roll a percentage die? 53. Multiple personalities. Yep. You have to do a will save every morning upon waking. If you fail the will save, you become the other personality. You will deny the other one exists. Only 4 days. For 4 days, Dr. P, you will have 2 personalities. If you wake up and roll below 19 when you wake up, you'll be the other personality besides your normal one. But I assume something very different than Dr. P. 5's amnesia, which happens immediately. You will get a -4 to all will saves and skills, and a loss of your memory. So all skills you take a -4 because you just don't remember what you're doing. Can't remember name, skills, past, lose all class abilities, lose all skill ranks.
You never had any class, did you?
You keep your BAB and saving bonuses, C&B and stuff. Your exes don't remember anything else. And that lasts until I just don't feel like it lasts anymore. There's no end on that. It just happens immediately until I feel like you can get your memory back. Everybody acts accordingly to your psychoses and such as you enter the warp and are affected by the strange warp energy. And roll perceptions as you guys enter the warp as well. Especially Zhaoshan, since you're the one paying the most attention.
13. Makes sense. I'm in my room, just like
Modify.
fucking with the corpse.
17.
I might have heard it.
Modify 20.
Tomoko and Zhaoshan will notice that there is a Dulon ship firing at some warp beasts that are attached to a large conglomerate freighter that has a pirate vessel attached to it that's being devoured by warp beasts. You guys are going towards it. Of course, any area with warp beasts is soon to be ripe with more warp beasts.
So there's like 3 ships total and warp.
Correct.
Yuan ship, there's the freighter, there's a pirate ship, and then there's
Correct.
fuck.
Yes. Directly in front of, well, what you might consider front. It's the warp, so things are kind of all over the place.
I would
Okay.
make a distress call.
Okay, so Zhaoshan, immediately upon your crew asking what's up with that ship, you'll hear an incoming distress call.
Mayday, there is some serious fuckery afoot. I need help.
Now, Sean, that person needs help.
I'm worried about the pirates. We should check on them.
On everybody. There are 3 like side for our docking umbilicals to attach to.
It's a big conglomerate freighter, so there's multiple access ports for things to be loaded on. You could probably gain access to one. You might have to blow one open since you have conglomerate access, but you could probably dock up next to one and try to gain entry one way or another. Blow it open, disable device, some other strength check it open if you have to, but yeah, possible.
I got bombs.
You might have to get up nearby and maybe tangle it again so you don't lose it because the warp and you don't want to be thrown off course or anything.
Yeah, I can entangle against it.
Kess Blix is in stasis, as are a lot of your crew, but Kess is probably the most relevant one to our conversation right now.
Can I go wake him up?
I'll go wait Kess Blix in the meantime when you guys attach to this. Do you want to attach to the pirate ship or the larger conglomerate freight ship?
Dr. Paracelsus, recommendation.
I am interested in what's going on in the pirate ship. However, it is being assailed by warp beasts, so safest for our beloved ship might be to attach to the freighter and then maybe split up. Some people will help the freighter and the other people check out the pirate ship.
This
Just
is
attached.
I display like a holographic trail to the dock, like the docking port, with an encouraging message to Dr. Paracelsus.
Dr. P, you want to put on you got a suit on already, so you want to get in the airlock, I assume attach one of those 100-foot airlines that have been provided previously by Zalshan?
Yeah, so that we can,
Your ship is attached to it with vines, but there's a door between you and it, and you have to go outside in space to get to the door, and then through that door to get into that ship.
Well, I'll do that since I can probably handle the disabled device to get the doors open and such.
I assume you got either the top or side hatch instead of the huge back door.
I'll go out the top hatch, I suppose.
That's fine. Either one has an airlock, so Zalshan can let you out of there. You got an airline, 100 feet, to the freighter to one of these, like a docking bay or a loading bay, that if your ship was designed differently, if it was a conglomerate-style ship, you'd probably lock right into, but your ship's a planned ship with weird doors, so it doesn't really fit. But you can find a way to get in there, maybe.
Alright, I'll roll perception on the door and see if there's a panel that I can hack or check out. That's a 10 on perception.
Yeah, it seems like there's locking mechanism on the door. It's a circular door with holes in the rings around it. It seems like ships would lock into it, and that would unlock it. So there's no panel with a code or anything like that you could normally punch into a door. It needs to be ship operated.
Well, can I try a disabled device on the door just to get it to pop open?
You have any tools, or just trying it by hand?
Yeah, I don't really have a lot that's gonna do us any good here, guys. I guess I'll just
By hand, try to disable it?
Then yeah, I'll just try to do a regular old disabled device on it. 17 disabled device.
You're poking holes and pulling door. You feel like you could probably pull this open? It seems to be a pretty simple mechanism. Just gears, nothing fancy about it. You don't have the strength.
Knowledge engineering to know what to twist and pull.
Yeah.
Bop it.
Yeah, I got 15 on engineering.
It's the pins around the circle of the door. You need something to fit in there and twist what's inside to open the door easily. Otherwise, you feel like you could force it open if you were stronger. Like, whenever you try to force it, it moves a little, but you're not a very strong guy. You know that about yourself. Maybe with one of your stronger allies, you could force this open, but you alone, you don't think you can. At least not without some tools or something. Maybe with some leverage of a crowbar, it would help, but not just barehanded. And it seems if you don't have something to pry it open, it would probably snap right back closed. It's like a camera lens. It's
Yeah,
so
like
circular.
it's the James Bond intro.
Yeah.
Yes.
How big are the spaces that I need to fill and twist?
Larger than your thumb, about a quarter of an inch larger than your thumb.
And how many of them are there?
Say a dozen, 12.
Alright, well, can I just attach a couple of bombs to it and back up and blow them?
Totally in your skill set.
That's +4. So I get to do 6 bombs all the way around. So I'll, place them around and 50% of the holes. And I have enhanced bombs, which was extra half times damage. Alright, 66 coming in hot. Alrighty. Alright, so that's going to be 2 plus 4 is 6 for one bomb. 2 plus 4 is 6 for another bomb. 3 plus 4 is 7 for another bomb. 3 plus 4 is 7 for another bomb. 4 plus 4 is 8 for another bomb. 6 plus 4 is 10 for another bomb. 61 plus another 30.
Yeah.
So
90
damage.
Yeah, you're gonna blow a big hole in that ship. It's time.
Christ.
And now it's time for everyone, including our new players, to roll for initiative. For you,
I got
Doug.
21 and 12.
Sean got a 4. No, wait, sorry, a 7.
Kess, Blix, you've been woken up now by Tomoko officially. So if you want,
Okay. Ah!
you can also roll
A
initiative
lot of
here.
things are happening.
There's alarms going off as you're being awoken.
I gently put my hand on Tomoko's shoulder and I say, I dreamed I was a moth trying to fly to the moon, and I
Wow.
almost got there,
That
and
sounds
then a
beautiful.
giant dragon came by and killed me with its flame.
You're gonna be
And I
saying
woke
that
up.
sort of like in a half awake, half asleep state because you can't be out of stasis until the number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier. So for 12 seconds, you're kind of out of it. So you're kind of mumbling that for the next 12 seconds. So you can't get out of the pod for 2 rounds.
So that's what it thinks he's telling me. But
Saying 2 or 3 of those words.
yeah, just every other word.
You hear the word moth?
Roll
Moth,
after this time.
dragon.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting, friend. I hope that this is also interesting.
So he's sort of coming to in the next 12 seconds, so you have to wait for him to come out of it.
6.
So that makes sense anyway. You're kind of out of it.
There you go.
Even below Zalshan, I need our 2 new characters, Zirhi and Eileen Rapley.
23.
Oh, that makes total sense. All right, Eileen Rapley. It's time to introduce a brand new character who's already aboard the ship that Dr. P is blowing a huge hole into. Yeah, I rolled one off it. Besides burning a couple of the vines that are attached to the ship, sort of loosening your hold to it. Other than that, you guys are fine, so it's not as tight as a hold as you would have had. Dr. P, you're still outside on your airline. There's a big hole in the ship. Eileen, you have the highest initiative, so you're up. And you're up because you had just called for help, and right after you, sort of moments after you did, explosion on the ship that you're on. You're on the big freighter, the conglomerate freighter, which you were looting, and now there's an explosion. So you can do with that information what you wish, because it's your life. You don't see the hole yet. You're not in a place where you see the hole, but you definitely heard an explosion that rocked the ship that you're on. You're more towards the front of the ship where you were able to get the communications equipment and stuff. The hole is not affecting you yet, but you definitely heard an explosion that's probably affecting the ship you're on.
So obviously I'm pissed off and I'm just kind of cursing to myself saying that's not exactly what the fuck I asked for.
That's not helpful.
And I just, I'm gonna head out of cockpit and then try to head back towards where I think I hear the sounds. Try to assess the distance between whatever the fuck just blew a hole in the wall.
Alright, and I assume you're wearing a spacesuit to keep you safe from any of the elements, or are you walking around, you freeballing it? Because up until now, the ship was safe and environmentally controlled, but if you leave this room, it's not.
I was wearing it.
Yeah, if you weren't, you might want to find one soon. I think you're smart enough for that. I was trying to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
You got one on. It's going to have a limited air supply, of course, because you're not attached to anything, unless you want to be attached to the pirate ship you came from. Would you like to be attached to your pirate ship? That might limit how far you can travel, would be the only thing. You'd be attached to a line. Either that or you have a portable, limited air supply.
Yeah. Attached the line.
Alright, and you have, as long as nothing happens to that ship, you've got good air. As long as your pirate ship is unaffected, you can breathe as much as you need. Might not be able to travel as far, but you can travel towards that sound if you like, out of the cockpit. You were here looting, so you've probably got some stuff on your person already. Whatever you've got in your bag is you've acquired in your life before now. You've got all your belongings on you, and you've got your spacesuit. You head towards the explosion. Roll a perception check.
13.
So the ship's still being fired on, so it's not just that one explosion, you're being rocked from all over. But you definitely are going towards the explosion. You don't see anything yet. You might hear the whooshing of, like, air being sucked out of the ship, but you don't see anything other than that currently for this turn. Dr. P, though, it's your turn next, and you're right outside the hole.
I would like to make my way. I don't think I have a crap.
You do not. It's not something you have, and Tomoko didn't lend you one, so.
Well, yeah, since I don't really have any backup, that was our move, but whatever. I'm going to make my way towards the ship.
Alright, you float in. Once you're inside, you probably have about 20 or 30 feet, maybe 40 if you really want to stretch it, of airline before you can't move around. But you can go through the hole. As soon as you do, I'll let both you and Rapley roll a perception check, because you're probably going to see each other.
Since it's still my turn, though, can I close the inner airlock to stop the loss of air? Normally, the inner airlock would probably be open, since there was nothing connected to the outside.
Yeah, you did blow an outer door. You can, once you get inside, you can close that, but that might cut your line if you do that.
I was going to retract my line.
Your line's attached to a ship, so you can't pull it off of the ship.
I would detach it from myself.
You can do that. Let it go float away. Just hold your breath.
Device, which is on my person at all times. I'm going to leave my cable in the void.
Just hang, right?
Yeah, just around. Yeah, and then I'm gonna hit the closed door and close the inner airlock.
Either sleight of hand, disable device, or some sort of skill you would have for working machines. Anything I would allow. Pretty simple to close the doors. Doesn't be anything complicated. I might even allow a knowledge. I might even allow that.
That's a 10.
You can get inside, and you're not really sure how to close the airlock. You have detached your ear tube, though. What's your con mod?
Not great.
Well, that's not good.
0.
Oh, you have no rounds to figure out how to close this door before you pass out. So you're gonna pass out in 6 seconds, basically.
I mean, it's still my turn.
If you want to try to re-grab your air hose, if you let go and plug it back in, I would allow that. That might use up your whole turn if you do that.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to have to want
a reflex save? Yeah, dexterity or reflex, whichever works best. And then after that, the two of you can roll perception checks to see if you see each other.
I got an 18.
I'll let you grab it with that. You can grab your air hose, plug it back in real quick. Once you realize you can't shut the door. And now the two of you roll perception checks to see each other there, that hallway that you're both in.
14.
It sounds like, Rapley, you're going to see Dr. P before he sees you. You still rolled higher than a 10, Dr. P, so you're still going to make out someone inside. But you probably were very distracted, unplugging your air, then panicking and plugging it back in really quick once you realized you couldn't breathe when you unplugged it. There's still a big hole sucking all the oxygen out of this room that you're in, this area that you're in. Rapley, you'll see all that, but you unfortunately can't do anything right now. Next up is our Chaos Beasts. They're munching away at the freight ship. They're munching away at the pirate ship. The person that's the most immediate threat to is Zirhi. Zirhi, your initiative is next at 18. The ship you're aboard, you're a prisoner aboard a pirate ship that was going through the warp and it came across this ship and was looting it one by one. All the crew was killed by a strange alien beast. Suffice to say, it's a freighter in space. You went on board. There's an alien encounter. Most of the crew aboard the ship you were on has been killed. You survived because you've been locked up in a hold on this ship, and maybe one or two other people survived. You have no idea, but they've all left the pirate ship and have all boarded the larger freight ship. You're all alone on this pirate ship that is slowly being devoured by warp beasts, and you see them feel them rattling the hull of the ship. You see them slowly, I want to say, melting their way through the hull. It's like rainbow colors dripping as they bite their way through. You know you don't have long before the hull of the ship is breached, and your oxygen will also be compromised, and you're locked up in a cell, so you don't have a spacesuit, and all of your belongings are outside of the cell, so the only thing you have on you would be your clothing, unfortunately. All the rest of your belongings are nearby. It's not a very big ship, so they didn't take your things very far away from you, but they did separate you from your belongings. Your bag is 10-15 feet outside your cell, but you can't reach it.
I'm muttering to myself, and I'm pissed off. Is nobody gonna let me out of here? Do I just have to deal with all of this? How many warp beasts are there?
They're outside of the ship, so you can't see them, but you know it's a large enough number to be shaking the ship and devouring the edge of the ship, so you can't make out how many, but even one warp beast who was to make it through the hull of the ship would put your life in serious danger. That's all it would take, is one making its way through the hull, then the oxygen would be sucked out, and or not a person that can't not breathe.
Alright, cool. Then I'm going to use disable device and attempt to unlock the door.
I'll allow that, and since you have nothing in your cell with you really, unless you want to try to find some object you can use as an improvised tool.
Can I use my claw as an improvised tool?
Yeah, I'll allow that. It's sharp, and you could shove it in a hole. So yeah, go ahead and disable that device. Good luck to you. Oh, 24? You've got some great rolls. Yeah, you have no problem. You probably could have left this cell at any time, and you just didn't want to, apparently.
Sounds right, honestly.
This isn't a very complicated lock. You just stick your nail in there and twist it around, the door opens up. This ship was obviously not built to hold prisoners. It was more of like a cargo hold you were stuck in. This is a stolen ship, not built to be doing what it's doing. It's been modified a lot, obviously. But you can get out of your cage. You're now free to roam this pirate ship for 6 seconds at least. Do you do anything in the next 6 seconds out of your cage?
Collect my stuff.
Kali, back aboard the Zaoshan.
Well, guiding by his current sessions, if anyone would happen to be listening to the radio right now, all you hear is the squelch and ripping of flesh tears into a corpse, and I'm ripping it apart in my room.
Because I assume that means you're seeing blood.
Yes, I mean, it's essentially guiding right now.
Nakali's pretty much useless for this battle right now. You're not going to leave. We're pretty much using a skip card on Nakali until we have a reason not to. Up next is my Dulon ship, which is firing on the freighter. Luckily, not hurting you guys, and luckily in the warp, a lot of times laser beams go crooked. They're missing the freighter they're firing on, so they're not making any advances. They're trying to fire at warp beasts. They're trying to reach it as well, also board it and steal whatever's on board, but are having even less luck than you guys. Next is Argyle.
Okay, so first, let's find someone. Don't care who. So Argyle just wanders around.
Probably gonna be Tomoko would be the first person you find, and Kess. When Kess is coming out of stasis, he's not quite awake yet.
Hello, dapper friend.
I walk up to Tomoko and say, "Greetings. I am Gargolian. Give me my orders."
You are very funny, dapper friend. Let's go help everyone. And I'm gonna grab him by his hand.
Paw, yeah.
Hand paw.
Whatever you want to call it.
Follow us, Kess.
Lead
Holding
Argyle out.
Argyle's hand. We're gonna start rushing towards the
Alright,
cockpit.
you and Argyle take the lead. You're ahead of Kess going towards the cockpit. That's fine. Zaoshan.
How close is my docket, my airlock, the hull?
Within 30 feet, probably, but this getting it aligned properly, at least with this, you could probably line them up, but having a proper seal would be hard. You could put people in your airlock and they could easily maneuver between the two, but it wouldn't be a tight seal.
That's fine. Yeah, no, that would be fine. Can I do that with a fly check? I rolled a 19.
That's enough to put your holes close together. Line your holes up, get ready for a ship scissor.
Can I try to broadcast over, to the ships, both of them, with like a distress or like an emergency signal to broadcast over their speakers?
Tell me, since you'd be taking over someone else's communication devices, that'd be a disabled device or something else that would work in that fashion. A hacking, so sleight of hand.
I rolled a 9.
Yeah, you can't take over all the speakers on the ship. You can communicate to the cockpit like you did before, but that would be it. And when you try that, no one responds if you want to try that.
Yeah, no, I'm going to broadcast it to both cockpits then, directing anybody to please make their way to the ship that is roughly docked on the side of the conglomerate freighter.
Yeah, maybe cast another entangle to keep me anchored here.
That's fine, yeah, and you could probably even pull yourself closer. Yeah, make yourself as tight as you can make it if you want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, Blix, it's your turn, but you're still coming out of your sleep, so you can mumble some more words if you want, but you're half awake for the next 6 seconds.
Cross my legs and try to meditate myself out of this.
Maybe give him a good stretch and a yawn or something. Don't worry, the next 6 seconds will be up. That was the last 6 seconds you got to worry about. Rapidly in the hallway of the ship, air being sucked out of it.
I had noticed somebody else.
You noticed someone else in sort of a spacesuit covered in bombs and potion vials, and a guy wearing a weird breathing apparatus. Even underneath the spacesuit helmet, you can see the person underneath it is wearing another mask underneath that.
There is a helmet and then an internal helmet. helmet.
Yes, a suit within a
So
suit.
I, at this point, want to raise my laser pistol and say, not one more step, or your toes.
You say that, of course, there's no... The air's being sucked out of here. You have a mask on, and so does he. So, at best, you could probably only read your lips. But you do mouth the words and point the gun. We're sure. Do you want to intimidate, maybe, with your gun pointing?
That was the intent with that, but I just realized, okay. I wanna go that intimidation. Does it add a modifier? No,
That's that one.
Nat 1's always a Nat 1. All that, but this being an intimidation just means that Dr. P is not intimidated at all. A human lady trying to point a gun at you and just mouthing something. You're Dr. P, famous space pirate who's been on multiple adventures in your life. This doesn't scare you at all. You're not at all intimidated by this. You're probably the opposite of intimidated, which we'll say is turned on. You're probably like immediately attracted to the space pirate pointing a gun at you. It has the opposite effect of what Eileen wants.
I just got diplomacy.
Exactly. On your planet, pointing a gun at someone is probably the equivalent of flirting, to be honest.
Yeah, Kibler. We love
Yeah.
pointing.
If a woman points the gun at you when you first meet, that's like love at first sight type of thing. And unless Rapley's got anything else to do, it's now your turn, Dr. P, aroused as you are.
Well, I will try to close the door again after detaching my hose. Yep, give it another try.
All right.
Gonna roll a knowledge engineering to close the door behind me.
Never detached my hose.
A 27.
All right, luckily there is a second door, a blast door that closes behind the one you already blew up. Boom! Your cord luckily floats away just in time. 3/4 of it makes through, so let's say it's now a 75-foot lifeline. But now you have a 25-foot rope inside this hallway if you want to just pick up a 25-foot rope. It can just be a
I'll
rope.
hold on to that. I'll, of course, take off my helmet because I am just sprawled at the moment, and I will say, "The doctor is in."
Of course. Within the next 6 seconds or so, gravity and oxygen will regulate in this hallway for this ship, as its climate control is still working. And after that nice pickup line comes Chaos Beasts, who are failing to tear apart any of the hulls of any of the ships right now, but are multiplying in number, as they do every round. And they are getting closer to Zaoshan now. Previously to this, they were mostly attacking the freighter, the pirate ship, and the Dulon. But now that you guys have been here longer, you're drawing attention to yourselves. They are getting closer to you. And there's a lot. Up comes Zirhi.
She's walking around the pirate ship looking for some sort of exit because, well, she doesn't know exactly one. She knows those sounds are not good.
Yeah, perception, knowledge, local, geography, anything like that would get you out of here. Dungeoneering, even.
He's knowledge local, and that is a 23.
You've been on the ship for a while. As a matter of fact, you were on this ship before the pirates stole it. So you know your way around, and you can easily find where this ship is docked to another ship. That's not a problem.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
You can head that direction now. You can't make it out of the ship on this turn, but you can definitely head that way.
That's what I'm doing. I'm
Alright.
heading in that direction.
I assume at your top speed?
Absolutely.
Nakali, you're still feasting away on blood because no one's distracted you. You're still super focused on the blood on your face and stuff. You're really just having a good time
Just ripping
gnawing
and
into a
tearing,
corpse.
man. Ripping and tearing.
Can't wait till, you spend the whole battle just, devouring a corpse, and then you guys meet new people, and, Nakali comes out, and he's just, covered in blood.
He will be. He will not shower.
I'm looking forward to that moment. The Dulon, meanwhile, are just piss poor shots. I rolled a 2. So whatever they're firing at, this ship or War Beast, their beams are just... If anyone's watching, which I don't think anyone is, their beams are just veering off into the warp, which happens in the warp sometimes. Argyle.
So, where have I been dragged?
You've been dragged out of the dorm room. You're going towards the cockpit, sort of in the hallway in between the dorm room, heading towards the front of the ship.
I do not. I am led by hand to wherever that I'm supposed to go. Nothing designated as an enemy, then I do nothing.
All right, yeah, you just follow towards the cockpit confusedly because you have no idea what's going on or who you are, who this person is, or where you are, or what you do. So the fact this person seems to know you and is leading you somewhere and it seems important, you're just going to follow. And now it's Tomoko's turn, luckily, so you're leading the way, Tomoko. You can't be on the cockpit this round, but you can be about at the door at the end of this round. Alright, it's a big ship.
Dang it.
Ship the size of a house. It takes more than 12 seconds to get from the dorm to the
Well, I'm
cockpit.
just going to be talking.
And not at
I'm
my
not going to know that Argyle doesn't know what's happening. Dr. P blew up a hole in the side, but then it looked like he got his air. And so we need to go over here, and then Zaoshan can tell us all of the things we do. So I'm saying all these names and stuff
All right.
that he doesn't know.
Zaoshan.
Are there any chaos beasts
in weapon range?
There are lots in long weapon range and a couple in short weapon range. Probably
Nice.
4 in short weapon range, and they're all currently on the freighter ship, but they could easily turn towards you.
And I'll just like to wait my turn, attack in case I feel like one is threatening.
Like you have a defense ready.
Then yeah, I'm just trying to repeat the same message over any comms that can hear me.
All right, which will mostly just be your own unless you roll sleight of hand to hack into their system.
I rolled a 15.
We'll say that it's sort of like halfway, it's like crackly. So what are you trying to say? Can you break it up to like every 2 words out of your message that you're trying to broadcast, and like give me some like noises in between every 2 words? That would satisfy me.
Please me. Zalshan. Path side. Freighter.
Cass Blake, you're sort of coming out of it as all this is happening. You'll have also heard those very few words as you're coming out of it. And you'll see Tomoko running away with Argyle moments as you're coming out of your sleep moments ago. But now you can leave your stasis pod.
Well, looks like they got things covered that way. I'm going to go run towards where we have the opening of the ship where Dr. P left, and I'm going to put on a space helmet, exit that way.
You could be grabbing a suit and putting it on as you run there right now, Kess.
Yeah, I head that way and put on a suit.
Alright, so you're like running and tripping over yourself and putting on a suit as you head towards an exit as fast as you can. Back to Rapley. Some guy just took off his mask and tried to say something clever at you.
And I didn't hear it.
Once he closed the door and oxygen and all that stuff kind of returned, you still have a helmet on, so it was muffled. But he took his helmet off and said it, so you could like sort of like halfway hear it. You could hear it as though he was saying it out loud and you were wearing a helmet. So like a fishbowl kind of a thing.
Okay, and what was the phrase
The
said?
doctor is in.
I can only kind of half hear that. And I'm like, who's Finn?
Love it.
Is that all you got?
I was waiting for a rebuttal there. I want to figure out what this person is all about, so...
Do you want to maybe sense motive?
23.
He seems to be a piratey type. He didn't draw a weapon on you, even though he has like bombs and vials and he blew up something on the way in. He doesn't seem threatened at all. He doesn't seem threatening at all. He's reading it totally different than you're putting out. If anything, he seems to be trying to put moves on you, even though you can't understand him. He's trying to flirt through, even through his mask. You can't see his eyes, his face, nothing. You see none of his features, but you can definitely tell he's like trying to he's like leaning in. He's trying to put the moves on you, for sure.
I'm not going to back down then. I'm going to try to intimidate. Guy is being a little bit too forward in a ship full of aliens for my liking, so roll for that intimidate. 19.
Do a more serious move with the gun. Maybe you even want to like fire one time near his foot or something, or make it even more serious.
I'm going to fire one off kind of close to him so that it kind of bounces off the side near his leg.
If you roll a 1, you're just going to shoot him in the foot. That's the worst thing that's going to happen is you accidentally shoot Dr. P in the foot and I make you do some damage on him. So
All I said was the doctor is in. I wasn't being creepy.
all the way in. Now I'm being creepy.
Yes, howdy.
You can't help it. He's on a breathing apparatus. It just sounds creepy.
I got 18.
Yeah, that's enough to shoot at the floor. You can shoot the floor with 18. She shoots nearby you. Way more intimidating now. Willing to waste a charge on you at least. So that's 1 charge from your gun gone. Has ammo, willing to use it. Maybe a little more serious. You might still read that however you want, but definitely more intimidating than the first.
Yeah, well, I guess I would be like, well, it'd be great if you could hear me, and I'll make the motion of taking a helmet off of your head, and then I'm using my mouth, so it doesn't matter, so you probably can't lip read that. I'll pull out my Udon blaster, and which is basically a laser crossbow, and I will fire a shot at your foot, because I think this is kind of like foreplay. I'm digging it. 9?
Oh, but it's definitely like not right where you were aiming, so nowhere near as threatening as the shot you fired.
And then after I kind of miss, I'm going to take the leftover, part of my hose, and I'm just going to kind of twirl it around over my head like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Dr. P continues his acts of seduction. While the Chaos Beasts gnaw away outside, now they are breaking through the hull of that pirate ship. Luckily, Xerxes getting off of that bitch. And one of them's coming in close enough for you to attack there, Zalshan. It's either you had it ready to attack, so either you attack it or it's going to start attacking you next turn. So you have this chance to repel it.
I got a 20.
Oh yeah, you hit the thing coming towards you, no problem.
27 damage.
Yeah, you blow up one of these warp demons. Splat. Turns into all sorts of colored goo.
This concludes our transmission. Tune in next time for more Dungeon to the Stars. This episode of Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater is sponsored by our fans and friends on Patreon. Donate today. Keep Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater alive.